Little afternoon affair at 20th and Blake. Today is game number 159. The Rockies trying to win for the second straight day. And if they can win 2 in a row, it'd be the first time since almost 2 weeks ago when they took 2 straight at Coors Field against the Padres. Jon Gray sprinting literally to the mound. He is ready to go, and here's the lineup he'll face, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Don Mattingly again will have D. Gordon leading off, and then the big man will bat second, Giancarlo Stanton. He has good numbers, 4 for 8 with a couple of home runs against Jon Gray. Then it's Yelich, Osuna, Justin Bour, Derek Dietrich back in there at third base. A.J. Ellis is doing the catching, the former Dodger. He'll bat 7th. Miguel Rojas, who has swung it well in the series, will bat 8th. And left-hander Adam Conley on the hill today for Miami. Well, there's Gordon and Jon Gray. So many sensational numbers to point to. Here's what I like. He's already on that Jorge De La Rosa trek. He's 11-4 in his career at Coors Field.
He's been fantastic this season, 4-1 at home in 7 starts. The last 11 innings he has pitched, he's given up 7 hits, 1 earned run, 15 strikeouts, 2 walks. He's using his curveball a lot more. And I like it every time that he's on the mound just because of the command of the mound that he has. He has taken the presence of being the man for the Colorado Rockies.
The Rockies have done a good job with Gordon. He's just 1 for 9 in the series, 3 for 17 this year against the Rockies. They've been able to keep him at bay. He's produced 192 hits this year, which is 4th most in baseball.
Let's take a look at the Colorado Lottery pitch probability. Fastball 57% of the time, 96 miles an hour. The slider at 28%. Gets a swing and miss from D. Gordon. That number is a little high. His last start against the Padres, he used the slider 9% of the time, the curveball 23% of the time.
Well, here's the thing that we've noticed. At Coors Field, he goes more slider. On the road, you'll see the curveball a little more prominently featured. Doesn't mean he won't throw the curveball here. 1-2 on Gordon. I'm still marveling at that play that Trevor Story made on him last night to rob him of a hit up the middle.
I just like how much DJ LeMahieu enjoyed it. After D. Gordon took 2 hits away from him, DJ reveled in it.
Just missed on the outer edge. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alan Porter's calling balls and strikes this afternoon. Trip Gibson at first. Brian Gorman is at second. Dan Isanez at third. Brian. And a ground ball picked up by Reynolds out at first base. Boy, you have to be on your game if you're a pitcher. You can't hesitate for a nanosecond with D. Gordon running. And John got over there and got his foot on the bag before D could slide in.
Well, D. Gordon leads Major League Baseball with 35 infield singles. The Subaru Supermo. Reynolds leads the ball exactly where Jon Gray needs it. Yes, he beats it by a.
He is a blur up the line. I mean, that's like 3-7, I bet, up the line.
So think about this. D. Gordon has 39 infield singles this year, which leads Major League Baseball. Brett Butler back in 1992 had 72 infield singles.
Brett Butler got a lot of those with his bunting game. Here's Stanton. Again, we told you that Stanton has seen Jon Gray well in the past, but with Jon Gray, who's just 25, if you haven't seen him in 4 starts, it's a different Jon Gray. He just keeps getting better and better. 1-1 on Stanton.
I was watching Giancarlo warming up before the game. He got out a little late. He was running on the field when D. Gordon was already on the on-deck circle.
Slider, and that disappeared. 1-2.
The home run that Giancarlo Stanton hit against Jon Gray in Miami was on a slider.
John Lucroy off the plate, another slider, and that is all for Giancarlo Stanton. 2 outs.
the Subaru Supermo, you'd see the rotation nice and tight. exactly where Jonathan Lucroy wanted it. Rockies have found a way to keep Stanton at bay this series.
He's got to do it for 3 more at bats. Let him go feast on Atlanta's pitching. Christian Yelich at the plate with 2 outs and nobody on. And Yelich takes a strike at 96. John had a no decision down in Miami against the Marlins in August. This is a good one. This is what we were talking about a moment ago, Spilly. He's 11-4, and of course De La owned Coors Field with that .726 winning percentage, and Gray is ahead of that pace. High in the strike zone, called a strike at 97. It's 1-2. Wasn't that high, actually.
Well, he says he loves pitching at altitude because his fastball flies true. There's not a little extra movement like at sea level. He knows wherever he spots up and throws it, that's where it's going.
Another fastball just out of the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I remember the first year John Gray with the Rockies, he was talking about curveballs and how it's really difficult to pitch here at Coors Field. You do not hear that from him at all anymore.
Slider misses. That's right. You know, you forget. But he did. He seemed frustrated. He seemed perplexed, if you will, early in his career about pitching at Coors Field. Now, not only does he embrace it, but he has excelled here. 3-2 on Yelich. Appreciate all the hardy souls who've made it to downtown Denver for this most important ball game. Got a bundle up today. Temperature in the low 50s. Strike 3. Yelich is gone. Alan Porter rings up Christian Yelich. 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 first inning for the Gray Wolf. Ow! Jumpstart the offense as they did last night in the first inning with a 4-run frame. And Charlie Blackmon got it going yesterday with a walk. Let's see what's in store for Chuck Nasty here against Adam Conley as we check the rest of the lineup written out earlier by Buddy Black. Presented by Southwest Airlines. Nolan will bat third against the lefty after DJ. Story's been batting cleanup against Southpaws. Mark Reynolds, Ian Desmond. Cargo had 3 hits last night. Jonathan Lucroy, he's been swinging it. He'll bat 8th. And Adam Conley is a guy that has been up and down this year between the Marlins and New Orleans. He had a 12-start stint in New Orleans, and he's coming off one of his poorest starts of his career. He just got a handful of outs in his last appearance. And ERA close to 6 for Conley this year. Here's the 1-0. And it's 2-0.
Lasted an inning and 2/3 against the Diamondbacks, giving up 7 earned runs. He has pitched a lot better on the road than at home.
This ball is driven to left center field, really well hit, and it is caught by Osuna. That's the second time Osuna has gone to one of the deepest portions of the park and taken a double or triple away from a Rocky player in this series.
Marlins defense in the outfield is excellent. Osuna chasing it down. This is a tough spot. And then making it over the shoulder as you're about to head into the wall. You can see on the Subaru Super Mode, never breaks concentration.
Remember, Osuna, really a center fielder by trade, swapped this year. He moved to left, and Christian Yelich, who's an outstanding defender, was moved to center. It used to be Yelich in left. Really good outfield defensively for Miami, and not to mention offensively. This is one of the best threesomes, two-way threesomes in the game. Stanton's a really good defender, but he always talks about his offense naturally. 2-0's in there, 2-1. Osuna's had a monster year offensively, but he can go get it in the outfield. Yelich is also a very good two-way player. And DJ hits this in the air to Stanton. He's going to retreat a little bit. On the warning track, he makes the catch. So a couple of high-quality swings by the Rockies, just coming up a token short of trotting around the bases. In the infield, Dietrich is at third base. Miguel Rojas has a good glove at short. Dee Gordon's always in the Gold Glove conversation at second. Justin Bour at first. And the veteran, as they say, A.J. Ellis, is behind the plate. 2 outs. Here's Nolan. He owns a couple of home runs against Conley. They came in back-to-back at bats a couple of years ago against Conley.
Well, here are those back-to-back home runs from last year. Conley has the same, more or less, mechanics that you see from Chris Sale. Same arm action, but doesn't fool Nolan Arenado at all. Looking back at 2015 and 16 for Adam Conley, he was 12-7 with a 3.82.
One of the big differences, Spilly, is you well know, we pass along to our audience, with that Sale-like delivery. This ball's lined to center field, but it's right at the center fielder Yelich. With that delivery 2-3 years ago, he was throwing much harder than he does now. His velocity's down about 3 miles an hour. No scores. We go to the second.
Billy were talking about his slider and how the use has varied a little bit. So I said, John, tell me about your slider this year.
I feel like it's getting better. There's not as many bad ones being thrown. So, but then again, other weapons have come up, and curveball and fastball location has been really good. So
if I look at the slider from last year, what's different? Is it so little tiny that?
It's a big difference.
Really?
Yeah, it is. It's a big difference. Last year, it was easy. I knew, I was like, okay, I know exactly what this is going to do, where it's going to go, where I want to start it. And I didn't even think about anything.
Buddy Black told me that he's being overly critical of himself. And I talked to Chris Russin, as there's a strike today, and he and Gray are throwing partners. And Chris said he is just a perfectionist. Maybe he is overthinking because he wants everything to be that tight and that perfect.
I'm going to tell you, Mark, a little story about John Gray that was shared by, it's a good pickup there, the short hop to get Osuna. Shared by Charlie Blackmon today. I was watching, you may have seen this on the MLB Network. Charlie was asked about John Gray. And he was asked, Matt Vasgersian said, one word answer, right? He was asked about Nolan. He was asked about John Gray. And he said, ooh, that's a tough one. And he said, intensity. And I don't think people would have used that term for John a couple of years ago. I mean, John, big, strong, great fastball, pick a term. But the one Blackmon said was intensity, which just tells you, kind of embellishes what Mark was talking about. This guy is uber focused every fifth day.
And if you look at the batting average against his slider, it's 168. He doesn't like his slider this year, and guys are hitting 168. I think intensity is a great word. Last year, in a start right before he's facing the Padres here at Coors Field, he came out on the field completely different. Had the hood on over his head. At times, John was a guy you could talk to on the day of his start.
This ball is lofted to shallow right. Cargo got a good read on it, and Justin Bour is retired. Join in on the conversation. We invite you each and every day. Send us your thoughts, your questions on Twitter or Instagram. Photos work well on Instagram, right, Billy?
I love Instagram.
There you go. At AT Sportsnet RM, and do not forget to use the hashtag Toyota Talk. 2 outs. Derek Dietrich at the plate.
So after that start, as he was walking out with the hood on and completely changed his body language. Do you remember this game? He struck out 16, walked 0.
One of the best pitch games in Colorado Rockies history.
And from that point forward, the intensity for him has always been to that level.
Was there a guy that you played with, Billy? Because in baseball, even I think for most teammates, but certainly peripheral people, you just don't talk to the starting pitcher on the day he pitches. But was there a guy that was okay conversing with guys on the day he pitched, and he would still go out there?
Aaron Cook was notorious for it.
This ball to shallow left, and it's going to drop in front of Ian Desmond for a hit for Dietrich. Yeah, he was pretty loose.
He's very loose. Ubaldo was very focused, especially during his run where he was one of the best pitchers in baseball. He would always put his headphones on and just determined to have a great game, put his team on his back.
A.J. Ellis pinch hit last night. Was caught looking. Stuck around for a while to argue with Dan Iasanya. Rockies shutout was their 7th at Coors Field this year. Check this out, folks. The Rockies have 9 shutouts this year. 7 at home, only 2 on the road. The 7 at home is a new club record. But you would never think that, right? You think the opposite. And I think that is such a good sign. It speaks volumes about the John Grays and the Tyler Andersons and the Kyle Freelands, the Chad Bettises and the Sensatellas and the Marquezes, because not only are they not intimidated about pitching here, they like to go in pitching 20th and Blake.
Should love to pitch in your own backyard.
Absolutely. Wasn't always the case, as you know. Good start for John. No score, middle of 2. Seven runs or more, go to participating Taco Bell locations the following day between 4 and 6 to receive your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. With Ryan Spilborgs and Mark Stout and our entire crew, welcome to a Wednesday afternoon, cloudy Wednesday afternoon at the ballpark. The Rockies, with 4 to play, just keep producing victories, and they control their own destiny. Trevor Story, big reason why the Rockies got off to the fast start last night. He hit a 3-run bomb on the 9th pitch of his at-bat yesterday in the first inning against Jose Urena.
It's his best at-bat of the season, hands down. I mean, he can look at it and say that was my best at-bat.
Well, he has put together, if you want to look at his top 25 at-bats all year, I bet you 40% of them have come in the last 2 weeks. Fair statement, Spilly?
Yes. Just in a good place. Last night, he did not try to pull any fastball. Urena kept trying to throw sliders down and away, which is basically Trevor Story's kryptonite.
That's a good eye. And one of the things he's doing, and it's always the key to success offensively, I'll let you expound on it. He's swinging at strikes and dismissing pitches out of the zone.
He's always going to strike out. The way that baseball is designed now, there's always going to be a high rate of strikeouts based on velocity, based on swing paths. But making sure with 2 strikes to try to shorten up, to have an approach. You're not trying to pull, not trying to drive the ball out of the yard the whole time.
Look where Stanton's playing, Spilly. He's almost in the Rockies bullpen.
He's in Mars.
Or close to it. And a walk. So Conley, who will walk some periodically. A leadoff walk to Story, first base runner for the Rockies. They had 3 good at-bats, I thought, in the first inning. Nothing to show for it, but 3 quality swings.
Well, and we're looking at Connolly, and over the last 4 starts for him, he hasn't lasted longer than 5 innings. And even his last start, lasting an inning and 2/3. You think you have a guy on the ropes, but at the same time, Connolly, you know, over the last 5 days, he's been putting his heart and his mind and his mechanics to get into this start, because look, at some point when people keep kicking dirt on you, some guys punch back, and that's what you're looking at with Connolly. You're wondering if in the back of his mind, if this is one of these starts where he says, I have to pitch better.
This is fouled off by Reynolds. Well, this is his final start of the year. This is the one that doesn't stick with you for 4 days. This sticks with you for 6 months.
It's a big start for Adam Conley today.
So much room in front of the outfield. Reynolds chases up 1 and 2. Yelich is playing really deep. Osuna really deep.
It's the deepest I've ever seen in outfield this season.
They'd have to get a drink of water before they hit the infield dirt. Adam Conley was a second-round pick out of Washington State in 2011.
So he loves this weather.
He's used to this stuff. This is a bright sunny day to him. Three and 2 with Ian Desmond on deck. A little better weather in eastern Washington over in Pullman, but he's from Olympia, which is about an hour and a half south of Seattle, state capital. Story not going, ball 4. So Conley creating traffic. 2 walks, and here comes Desmond. This is the time of year, Spilly, and you've been on the good side of this and on the bad side of it, where you know you're going home, and you've also obviously been in a situation where you're playing to go to the postseason. When you're playing to go home, sometimes the attention span of that team is not great.
It's not great. Nope. Especially if the weather's not great. If it's a day game.
And you get on them early.
Got to get on them early.
This ball high and deep right field. Is it up and away? Gone. 3-run home run. Ian Desmond. That's getting on him early. Nothing better than the old 3-run home run card.
Ian Desmond giving hugs to everybody. 3 hugs for everyone. 3-0 Rocks. 7th home run for Ian Desmond. RBIs 39 now. We always point out the very first run of the game, whoever scores first has a great opportunity to win. The Rockies this season, when they score first, 66 and 24. Carlos Stanton does a good job dinking in right field. Hoffman loves it. He's
Raise the roof.
I didn't know people still raise the roof.
He's going old school. Cargo, good take, 2-0. Boy, did he hit the ball hard last night. 3 missiles, single, double, and what most times would have been a double, except Stanton fielded a rocket off the scoreboard, turned around and threw to second. Cargo was safe initially, but then on the bounce was tagged out. 3-1. You know, some people like pancakes for breakfast, maybe an omelet. I kind of like 3-run bombs, man.
Oppo tacos.
Yeah, Oppo tacos. And another walk. Walk, 3-run home run, walk. Shows you the quality of at-bats that the Rockies are throwing out there. Juan Nieves in a 3/4 sprint to the mound. Ian Desmond's home run, his 7th.
Anytime you have first and second, nobody out, you always hear me talk about bunting, just because it's one of those few situations where a hit, a walk, or a hit by pitch is basically the only way to do it. Rockies choose to swing away, and on the Supermo, you can see pitches up. Ian Desmond knows off the bat. You can tell he's trying to hit the ball opposite field in the air.
Yeah, the plane of his swing was a little different there, wasn't it?
Well, and that's because he was trying to give that quality at bat. We've seen Desi this season, what is it, 67% ground ball rate, 64%. It's the highest in his career by, I believe, over 10%, which just shows you the timing for Desi just hasn't been there. He hasn't been in his legs quite yet.
It's been a disjointed year for him with the injuries.
Exactly.
3-0 Colorado on the Desmond 3-run home run. Nobody out. Cargo at first. Lucroy has been swinging it exceptionally well at the plate. Jonathan actually looking for his first career hit against Conley. Baseball's funny. You ask, like we've talked before, you have guys that you own, maybe big names you own, then there'll be some, kind of journeyman guy you couldn't get a hit off of. He's 0 for 14 lifetime against Adam Conley. And the only way to answer something like that, it's not to be disrespectful to Adam Conley, is it's baseball. When you can't explain it, just throw that phrase out. That's what Buddy does. 1-2. And this is going to drop. And that is a product of how deep this outfield is playing. Stanton had no shot. I guarantee you, Spilly, because you talk frequently about this subject you just mentioned, you're going to get your bunt here, or at least your bunt attempt.
Oh, in this situation, yes. Well, for me, Giancarlo Stanton and the entire Marlins outfield is playing way too deep. Anytime you see visiting outfielders come to Coors Field, and look, don't get me wrong, Ozuna's played great defense. Yelich has played great defense. Stanton has played great defense here at Coors Field. But today, for whatever reason, we're playing very, very deep.
Bohr fires to D. Gordon. On the first pitch, John Gray getting a big round of applause for getting the job done. Second and third, one out. Here comes Chuck Nasty sitting on 97 RBIs. This team looks pretty focused, doesn't it?
They're on a mission.
Cargo's at third, Lucroy at second. Charlie, for a moment, I thought hit one out. His first at bat to left center field. He was about 415 feet, tracked down by Marcell Ozuna.
Marlins starting to warm up Vance Worley in their bullpen.
Former Fightin' Phil.
It's a design play for the Marlins because Connolly's not looking at Rojas breaking. This was told to him from A.J. Ellis behind the plate. If he would have thrown it, he might have had a shot at getting Lucroy at second.
That is a fair ball, and Charlie's going to reach. Conley never broke for the bag. Cargo scores. 98th RBI for Blackmon. First and third, still one out. We'll probably have to give him a hit.
You have to. Chopped. I get Connolly thinking maybe it's going to go foul, but this is basically sleepwalking. You have to get over. Let the umpires tell you whether it's fair or foul. This was an out. It's got to go down as a hit.
Only way you could score it. 98 ribbies, and here comes Don Mattingly. It's going to be another short start for Adam Conley. He didn't get out of the second inning in his last outing in Arizona. He went an inning and 2/3, and today he's going to get just 4 outs. Rockies up 4-0. Not done here in the second. Baseball on AT Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra and your hometown Toyota stores. And by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. So Adam Conley gone after an inning and a third. And Vance Worley will take over with the Rockies up 4-0. They have runners at first and third. DJ LeMahieu, the 8th man to hit in the inning, is coming up. Lucroy's at third. Blackmon, an infield hit, is at first. Worley is a guy that will use primarily 3 pitches, but he's a sinker slider guy.
He's pitched very well against the Rockies in 3 games started. He's 1-1 with a 3.38. Probably was not expected to come in the 2nd inning of today's game.
It's an early call for the bullpen. Charlie takes off. AJ's not even going to throw, and that's the 14th stolen base for Blackmon.
Perfect time to do it. Get a relief pitcher coming in. Just trying to get his bearings. Charlie jumps him.
Charlie just tied Ian Desmond again for the club lead. Infield in. Here's the 1-0. This is in the air to D. Gordon in the infield. So DJ will be unhappy with that at bat. And with 2 outs, Nolan will come up. He lined to center field his first time. The RBI hog. Got 129 of them, more than anybody in baseball.
And they're not even going to take a shot. It'll be Trevor Story time with the bases loaded.
Trevor began the inning by walking, and he came around on the Desmond 3-run homer. Takes strike 1. Trevor has hit 5 straight ball games. He had a 10-game hitting streak that ended last week. So overall, he's hit 15 of his last 17. Ball 1 strike. Lucroy a base hit. He's at third. Blackmon an infield hit. He's at second. Of course, Nolan was intentionally passed. 4 runs in. The Rockies hunting more here in the second.
Well, as a team, nobody's better at baseball hitting ahead than the Colorado Rockies. Of course, those numbers will play out with Trevor, but Trevor of late has been very good with 2 strikes.
Up the middle, base hit. That'll score 2. Here comes Blackmon. He's following Lucroy. Nolan goes first to third. Trevor Story makes it 6-0 Colorado. We were saying he is in the best place he's been offensively all year.
2 strikes, you see it. He's trying to hit the ball hard up the middle, opposite field. We have not seen that approach over the course of this year up until the last 3 weeks. That's a huge base hit early in the game. From 4 to 6.
Especially again with 2 outs. Here's Reynolds. And now the RBI total for Trevor is at 78. Most of any shortstop in the National League. Let's slider was hanging. Reynolds just missed it. 0-1. Ball and a strike. Seager, Brandon Crawford, Zach Cozart, the 4 shortstops that have produced 70+ RBIs. And Kid DeYoung in St. Louis, good-looking player. Runner going, throw to second. Safe underneath the tag is Story.
Make the argument Trevor's the best athlete on the Rockies team and hasn't been the best base stealer. And I think since watching Ian Desmond and Charlie Blackmon of late, he's getting a better feel for when to go.
They're taking a look at this because D. Gordon held the tag on the helmet. Did he come off the bag on?
No. He's going to be safe.
Do we pay more attention to this now because of the reviews, or do more guys slide past the bag than what I remember? Tag, freeze it, freeze. Can't see from that angle if he's still tagging him. Probably need a different angle. This one may show it. Hold, hold.
He might be off right there.
That's the one where they may look and say no contact at that point with the bag.
Watching Trevor sliding into second base, it looks like he's sliding to the outside part of the bag to avoid some contact with D. Gordon. If he flies straight into the bag in the middle of it, probably upends D. Gordon, but he doesn't come off the bag the way he does because his body would go over the bag.
It's an area. You see, he's 7 out of 8. We're going to be sitting here, Spilly, in September of 2019, and he's going to have 25 bags.
Oh yeah.
But do you recall as many guys when you were playing? It was just a handful of years ago that you were playing. Slide past the bat?
Weren't fast enough.
Didn't create that kind of. Here it is.
And you're out.
Yep. So that will end the inning. The Rockies put a 6th spot up in the second. It was Desmond's 3-run home run on the roof of the scoreboard. They got everybody pumped up. CenturyLink high-speed challenge question. Go to AT Sportsnet RM on Twitter to cast your vote. We'll show you the results during our Toyota post-game show. Colorado averages more than 300 sunny days a year, more than Maui, by the way. So what do you do, what do you like to do when it rains? Watch a movie, sleep, cook, or say the heck with it, going outside, running right through the rain? D.
Go outside, run through the rain.
Right?
Yeah, it's got to be.
What the Rockies are doing today. Miguel Rojas at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike on Rojas. The Rockies up 6-0. All 6 of those runs charged to Adam Conley. In the 6-run second inning. The largest second inning for the Rockies this year. They had a nice first inning yesterday, putting up 4 spot. Two balls, 2 strikes.
And this could be a growth day for John Gray because he's been talking about it. He says occasionally he'll have a lapse. Today's not one of those days where you have a lapse. Get yourself in the right frame of mind.
Here's the 2-2. And this is fisted towards Story. Took a funny hop, but he stayed with it. It had a lot of English on it. That'll bring up Vance Worley.
Winter is here.
Anytime a guy wears those kind of glasses and goes to the plate, I immediately go back to the Reds in the 80s and think Chris Sabo.
Sabo,
right?
Yeah, well, Sabo had like the James Worthy goggles. But yeah, why don't guys wear the goggles anymore?
New technology, man. You don't have to wear the goggles, I guess. Vance Worley bounces this one towards Story. He's got that play down. 2 outs. Well, the Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. We'll start talking about Gold Gloves. You know Nolan's going to get one. And the 2 guys who play next to Nolan in the middle, they're going to get heavy consideration. Check this out. Of course, DJ's won one in the past. This is assists per game in the National League. These 2 guys lead. So what does that tell you? A lot of ground balls, okay. But it also tells you that they get to a lot of baseballs. You can't get an assist if you don't reach the baseball.
And they're finishing off plays.
And they're finishing those plays. Great point. You loved this moment last night, didn't you, Spilly?
Oh, I loved it for several reasons. Number one, Tyler Anderson was pitching fantastic. I love the spin move. But I love that DJ had 2 hits taken away from him from D. Gordon last night. And since he didn't have an opportunity to steal one back, cheering on his teammate to take one for him was great.
There's the 1-1 on D. Gordon. And DJ can take a hit away from Gordon. And he can't quite do it. Boy, he wanted that one.
I guarantee it. He would have loved to have gotten it.
You know what? He would have gotten virtually everybody in baseball not named Gordon or Hamilton or Turner or Buxton, right?
40 infield singles now for D. Gordon. Just puts the ball in play. I love how DJ slides, controls his body in the middle of the slide.
Here's Stanton.
Just watch how fast D. Gordon is getting down the line. It's basically 12 strides.
We're going to time him. We got to time him with I'm saying 3-7. 3-7. Under 3-8. Here we go. Off the bat. Get to it after this pitch. 0-1 on Stanton. He struck out on a slider his first time. Blew a fastball by him at 97. .384.
Yeah, well, your thumb could have been slow.
Might have been.
Let's just say 3-8.
Gordon takes off. That pitch just missed.
I think that last pitch was in the Subaru strike zone. It was just how Lucroy received it. A lot of late bite. It was in the Subaru strike zone.
57 stolen base for D. Gordon. He trails only Billy Hamilton in baseball. Here's the 1-2. And there's the strikeout of Stanton. We have seen Giancarlo more frustrated in this series than I've ever seen him. Rockies don't play him a lot, but I've never seen highlights of him like this.
They have 4 hits tonight. Looked at last night's box score. The Rocks had 12 hits, but the key thing was all 8 starters at the positions had a hit in the game. And I know you probably say, okay, you know, what's the big deal? No big deal. The Rockies 16 times this year have done that. They're 14-2 when that happens. Again, you figure that's going to happen. But to me, when you think about sabermetrics, analytics, I don't know, fantasy baseball, sometimes it takes the teamwork aspect out of things. And that kind of shows up, you know, when everybody is able to contribute, they win games.
Hey, Mark, I think that's a huge deal.
Right?
I mean,
I'm glad you agreed.
Yeah, when you have a whole lineup that produces a hit, that's a big deal.
Or they have a whole lineup that produces 1 hit, then 3 guys produce multiple hits.
Well, last night, one of the guys producing multiple hits is at the plate right now. Mark Reynolds, 2 for 3 and a walk last night. 2 strikes from Worley outside. Vance Worley's been a swing guy this year when he's been in the big leagues. He also spent time in New Orleans. He was a starter. 7 straight starts for him. Recently moved to the bullpen. That just missed. 2-2. Worley's a finesse guy right now in a power game. You have to be so fine these days if you're an 88 to 90, 91 guy.
I mean, guys have great success throwing mid-80s. You can look at a guy like Kyle Hendricks, whose fastball average is about 86 to 88 miles an hour, but you have to be able to locate. You have to have a good secondary pitch.
On the ground, Dietrich from his knees on 2 hops throws across the board to get Reynolds 1 gone.
Nice play by Dietrich, ranging to his left. Never gets a chance to reset his feet. Gets enough on the throw. You can check it out in the Subaru Supermo. 2-hopper to Justin Moore. Nice play.
Really nice play. Here's Desmond. He's seen 1 pitch today, and he hit it over the scoreboard and right with 2 men aboard. And this ball's in the air to center field. Yelich will make the catch. 2 outs. We'll bring up Cargo. So who do you think's leading the Rockies in some notable offensive categories since August the 30th, Billy? Hint, hint, hint.
Carlos Gonzalez.
Got a baby. Cinco's hitting 348. On base percentage almost 500. He's slugging just under 700. His OPS 1166. He walked his first time up and would score on a base hit by Blackmon. One and one. And that catches the outside corner.
Be at Coors Field for the final home games of the regular season as the Rockies take on the Dodgers September 29th through October 1st. Purchase your tickets online at Rockies.com.
Cargo drives this ball to left center field, and this one will take 1 hop and kiss off the wall. That's a duplicate of what we saw him do last night in an at-bat. Those line drives that stretch out over 400 feet. There aren't many people with the bat speed to produce them.
Once Cargo started heating up, he starts hitting the baseball into center field and left. Such good plate coverage, good extension. You know how much I love his finish.
Lucroy was intentionally passed. Those were the 4 quickest wide ones I've ever seen. Billy disgusted. Yeah, I'm with you. We've talked about that at different times this year. I think you have to execute everything, should have to execute everything in baseball. So here's Gray. He had a great sac bunt his first time up. Now he gets to swing it. And this is a decent matchup for John because it's not overwhelming velocity. He had a home run earlier this year that traveled 467 feet to center field.
Way to parlay the intentional walk head shake into a pitcher's home run head shake.
Took a home run hack.
So I had Dougie scrounge up some numbers on Carlos Gonzalez hitting the ball opposite field before August 30th. He's hitting the ball to center and right field more.
This ball is pretty well hit. Stanton going back will get there and make the catch. That'll end the inning. We'll have more on Cargo going oppo in a moment. He had a double. Lucroy left the board after the walk. 6-0 Colorado going to the 4th.
I think we should remember Rocktober from 2007, which was kind of, well, September, Rocktober if you want to call it that. This day, September the 27th, Franklin Morales on the hill at Dodger Stadium. The Rockies get 3 homers from Atkins, Hop, and Todd Helton hit one out. They get another win. It would be their 11th straight. Pulled it within 2 of Arizona, 1 of San Diego in the wild card race. Spilly, I think I saw you there with your jacket on, at least celebrating.
Yeah, I didn't do much, yeah. I did not do much in that game.
It takes everybody. We've been down this road. Played the Dodgers a lot then, huh? Oh, you started.
Bill, you had a knock that day.
I'm trying to find the box score, and it's not loading up.
You played center, you had a knock.
There you go.
Good ball game. What's wrong with that?
That was great.
Team win. Addy was 4 for 4. You think he's watching?
No, he's golfing today.
Hopper was 3 for 5. He had 4 in the RBI column that day, which is always a nice day. Put 4 in that spot, right? Christian Yelich is at the plate against John Gray. John has allowed 2 hits, 1 of the infield variety. He has struck out 3. He's got a 1-1 count now on Yelich. Yelich was caught looking his first time up. And Yelich throws out a base hit to left. Bring up Marcell Ozuna, ground ball to short in his initial at bat.
I was looking at how many home runs the Marlins have hit against righties this year, and it's been a ton. 3rd best team batting average in baseball. Against righties, they're 265 averages, 3rd best as well. And I was shocked to find when you're looking at Giancarlo Stanton has 43 home runs against righties. Ozuna has 33 home runs against righties. That they were 15th, middle of the road in home runs against right-handers this year. It's the Oakland A's.
Couldn't believe that.
Couldn't believe it. Just a couple below 200 home runs against right-handed pitching this year.
It's fouled off by Ozuna. Well, one of the many young players who's doing a really nice job for Oakland, hitting some balls out of the ballpark, is the guy that followed Nolan Arenado on the left side of the infield at El Toro High School in Orange County, Matt Chapman. Chapman, this is how good El Toro was. Chapman was a sophomore. He was a utility player when Nolan was a senior. Couldn't get on the field, yet he became a 1st-round pick.
Hey, that team won a CIF division championship.
0-2, and this is high in the air down the left field line. Curve foul. Foul ball.
Nolan's team his senior year won at Dodger Stadium, beating Tyler Chatwood.
They were, and I put this in quotations, but they were nationally ranked.
Chatwood's team, Redlands?
No, I don't know if Redlands High School was, but El Toro was. 0-2 on Ozuna. Want to come in and up. It's fouled off. It's down. So Stanton's hit 57 home runs this year. The old club record was 42 by Sheffield in '96. Gary Sheffield at Hillsborough High School, Tampa, Florida. Stanton hit 37 in 12 and 14. Ozuna this year, he's in the top 5 with his 36 home runs. He's a good player. Another 0-2 from Gray, and a ground ball up the middle, base hit. So Miami with 2 on here and nobody out.
Gray throws a fastball, misses his spot. You can tell his reaction. He wanted that pitch more inside.
So here's Justin Bour. Hit a fly ball to shallow right in the 2nd inning. outside, ball one. John out of Shawnee, Oklahoma originally. He went to Eastern Oklahoma junior college before going on to Norman in the University of Oklahoma. The Rockies drafted him, or excuse me, the Yankees drafted him out of Eastern Oklahoma in the 10th round. It's 2-0. And at the time they offered him $500,000 to sign, which is not 10th round money. It's like 3rd round money. Two and one. Two one. That misses. 3-1.
He's not missing by much. It's right at the bottom of the strike zone. Got to be careful with Justin Bour. He's done most of his damage. 64 career home runs, 58 of them against righties.
That's lined toward Cargo. He reaches up and he makes the catch. That ball was hit.
Good recovery from Cargo in right field. There's times where you'll have a ball hit that hard and it will look off the bat like it's in front of you. The Subaru Supremo, see him waiting till the last second before he jumps and stretches out. That's a line drive rocket. You have to trust your instincts. He takes a quick step forward and then recovers going back. That's what I'm talking about. Off the bat, it looks like the ball's going to be in front of you.
Yeah, if you take any step forward, you're done, right?
He did take one step forward.
Did he take a step forward?
But he's playing deep enough with Justin Bour that he's able to recover.
That ball came off the bat now. First and third, one out, and here's Dietrich. That was off the bat at 110 miles an hour.
And it's an out. That's why baseball could drive a person crazy.
Yeah.
Nice swing, you're out.
You hit a ball with that launch angle, it's probably like 17, 18 degrees, 16 degrees, somewhere in there, right? At 110 miles an hour, you hit like 930.
Oh yeah.
With that combination. Not this time though. 1 ball, 1 strike on Dietrich.
And there's a couple of years ago, I believe it was Robinson Cano was leading the league in line drives hit over 110 miles an hour, and his batting average in those situations was 500 or below, where it should have been somewhere in the 900 range.
It's bad luck. This could be 2. There's 1 on the first, not in time. A run scores. 6-1. RBI for Dietrich. His 49th as Yelich crosses home plate. 6-1 Colorado.
Rockies baseball is always live at the MLB.com and Bat mobile app. Stay connected all season with radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more.
A.J. Ellis at the plate. He's had his moments against the Rockies through the years, mostly with the Dodgers. 292 66 games against Colorado. First inning, Johns really had to work. popped up, and it's going to drift out of play. 1-1. So I mentioned Gray goes on to the University of Oklahoma. And he's good his first year there. His second year, he was dominant. He was the pitcher of the year in the pitcher of the week in the Big 12 3 different times. He was a first-team All-American, won National Pitcher of the Year honors. Rockies drafted him 3rd overall. This ball's hammered to deep left. And Ellis has hit a 2-run home run. Now Miami is back in this game. It is 6-3. 6th home run of the year for the backup catcher A.J. Ellis.
These are your fears when you're a Rockies fan and you're looking at this Marlins lineup. There's enough sock in the lineup to get back in a game. It's his 6th home run of the season and his 5th against a righty. John Gray knew it. Took a knee right on the mound as soon as that pitch was thrown. Rockies pitching coach Steve Foster going to try to settle down the Gray Wolf. I mean, you can look back to Dietrich. He just got sawed off, potential inning-ending double play. Rockies unable to turn it just because it wasn't hit hard enough. One extra batter. Makes it a 3-run game.
Miguel Rojas at the plate. Pitcher due next, Vance Worley. Ichiro is in the on-deck circle. A.J. Ellis has 43 career home runs, 9. 20% come against the Rockies. And we were talking earlier about teams this time of year, if they fall out of a ball game early, sometimes it's real easy for them to stay down. A.J. Ellis just kind of gave them a wake-up call, and now it's ball game back on.
I want you to see the reaction John Gray after this pitch to A.J. Ellis.
One-two on Rojas, the shortstop. And that's a base hit. Lucroy set up away. That ball was over the inner portion of the plate. So Ichiro will come up. This has turned into a tough inning for Gray.
Watching John Gray, just body language this inning, a lot of jumping on the mound. He's missed his location several times. It's a good test for John. This is where you have to find a way to clamp down.
Well, he was in a position, obviously, to do that. A run comes in, but there's 2 outs. He's facing Ellis. Put the inning down, and it's still a 6-1 game. Ball 1 on Ichiro. 10 All-Star appearances, 10 Gold Gloves. Two and 0. The Rockies are getting Antonio Senzatella. Couldn't have imagined this when the 4th inning began.
almost works to John's benefit that Ichiro had to shake off the foul ball on his knee, because you can tell that he's grinding. Body language not where it should be. Don't want people to see you sweat.
And DJ will get over and make the play on Ichiro to end the inning. But Miami's gotten themselves back in the game. There were 4 hits in the inning. A.J. Ellis a 2-run home run. It's 6-3. Brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And by the Wyoming Office of Tourism. Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why travelwyoming.com. With Ryan Spilborgs and Mark Stout, I'm Drew Goodman. Top of the order for the Rockies. Charlie Blackmon. Fly ball to deep left, an infield single to produce a run. He's also scored. And the third pitcher for Miami today will be Junichi Tazawa. Faced the Rockies in his career 5 times. Has a 2.08 ERA, 4 1/3 innings, giving up just 1 run against Colorado.
Tazawa is part of the Boston Red Sox bullpen a couple years ago. That was one of the best in baseball as they went on to win a World Series.
Run Charlie scored earlier, the 136th of his season. He leads baseball in that department. The only Rocky ever to lead the National League in runs was Ellis Burks in 1996. Ellis scored 142. Nobody's going to catch Charlie in the National League this year. He's up by 18 runs. It's a strike, 1-1. Nothing will feel better for the Rockies and for John Gray if the Rockies can counterpunch here in the bottom of the 4th. All 6 of their runs came in the 2nd. Two and 1.
Definitely don't want the Marlins hanging around. Top of the lineup comes up the top of the 5th inning. If Rockies can just keep adding on, even if it's 1 run.
2-2.
Swings that momentum right back.
Well, we have said it countless times the last few weeks. Nothing has been easy. In large measure through the entire 2nd half. Now down in the nitty-gritty of trying to make that final spot in the postseason in the National League. Rockies again trying to win back-to-back games for the first time in more than 10 days. Steve Foster now visiting with Gray. 3-2 on Blackmon. One out. LeMahieu, a deep fly ball to right and a pop to second. DJ's hit 30 out of his last 33. Not so frequently about all of the hits accumulated by Charlie, who leads the National League. DJ has 185 hits this year, which is 4th in the National League. Here's the 0-1 from Tazawa. He went 2 strikes.
Tazawa comes over from Japan, played his career with the Nippon Oil Enos of the Industrial League. It's not the NPB that most people are familiar with. This is a different version of professional baseball in Japan.
Dietrich throws it away, goes into the stands. Rockies catch a break. That'll be the 9th there on Derek Dietrich.
Probably an infield single with the throwaway. Dietrich made a great play earlier. This one is just trying a little bit too hard. See, he didn't even have a grip on this baseball. Super mode. It will go down as a base hit and an error. And just like that, they're going to walk Nolan Arenado again.
Don Mattingly's basically saying 28 is not going to beat us. He's not going to be allowed to even try to add on. Set up the force all the way around, and they'll take their chances with Trevor Story. He's 1 for 1, a 2-run single, also a walk and a run scored. Both of his at-bats came in the 2nd inning, and then he stole second. He was safe initially, but then on the old bounce, they reviewed it, and he was out, and that ended the 2nd inning. Otherwise, who knows, the Rockies may still be hitting in the 2nd. One out, LeMahieu at second, Nolan at first. Is that a foul ball? Yep. LeMahieu wasn't sure, so he'll have to go back after Alan Porter put his hands up, indicating that it was a foul ball.
Two strikes to righties. Tazawa loves to use his split finger. Becomes basically fastball or split finger with 2 strikes.
That's a splitter. 1 and 2.
A lot of Major League pitchers throw the split finger, and what it looks like for a hitter is a changeup with tumbling action. There's not a lot of rotation on it, so it has the bottom fall out. It basically falls straight down. Some changeups, guys will turn it over, get a little fade, a little movement down.
When you played in Japan, did you find that everyone threw the splitter?
Yeah, everybody has a split.
One, two.
After a while, if you see enough split fingers, you realize that you can pick them out of the hand. but anything that looks like a strike is a ball. So if you're going to hit a split finger, you need one to start above the belt.
Story trying to add to his RBI total today. And he will down the left field line, just what the Rockies needed. LeMahieu will trot home, and a green light now for Nolan, and he'll score. 2-run double for Trevor Story. There's your counterpunch. A 4 RBI day already. Don't underestimate how big that swing was.
Again, 2 strikes for Trevor. A curveball up in the zone on the Supermo. He just drops the barrel down. This comes back to the approach where he's trying to hit the ball center field to right. I'm going to give some credit where it's due. Stu Cole waiting until the last second to wave home Nolan Arenado. Nolan wasn't expecting to get sent home right there. Starting to slow up right around third base, and Stu saw it. Ozuna was fumbling with the ball in the left in that corner and waved him home.
Reynolds on that pitch. Marco for 1 and a walk. He has scored a run. All 8 position players have scored a run today, and we've played 3 1/3. The Rockies' perspective. Mark was talking about balance up and down the lineup. There's your balance. 1-1. For Trevor Story, his second 4 RBI game of the year. He had one back in April. His career high is 6 last August against the Braves. The day is young. One on Reynolds. 2-1. Colorado trying to win for the 45th time at home this year. They're 44-33 at Coors Field. Two 1, 3-1, and of course they finished the road schedule at 41-40, over 500 for just the second time ever. 2009, the other time they were above 500 on the road at 41-40. Glad you made that remark about Stu. Inside the division, we see other third base coaches, 19 times a year. We see Stu every day. He's watching coach third several hundred games now. He just doesn't make any bad decisions. He's appropriately aggressive when it calls for it. He is outstanding.
It's a great read. He stuck with that read in the corner to the last possible second.
So much information you got to filter through. Arm strength, positioning, we talk about pre-snap read in football.
Yeah, right.
Pre-pitch read.
Who's running?
Right. And the scoreboard always dictates everything at the end of the day.
Sure.
Where are you in the game? Three-two. And Tazawa gets a chase strikeout on Mark Reynolds. 2 outs. And that'll bring up one of the early game hitting stars, Ian Desmond. He got the Rockies going with a 3-run home run in the second. Hey everybody, the Rockies have clipped 7 runs. Don't forget to go to your participating Taco Bell location tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Lip Moss at Taco Bell. Desmond, the 3-run home run, and also a line drive to center field.
I'm always fascinated by Japanese players in major leagues, and this is an interesting stat. We always like looking at players who go through high school, maybe were red shirts in college. Tozawa was part of the Koshin tournament, which is the biggest high school tournament in Japan. Guess how well he did?
MVP.
Didn't even play.
Really? Didn't get in?
Didn't even get in.
DNP CD, as they say in the NBA, did not play, coach's decision.
And he doesn't come from the traditional NPB of Japan. That's their major league where you see the Tokyo Giants. He came from the Industrial League. So again, so many different ways to make it to the major leagues, from independent baseball, from overseas, from Cuba.
Oh, 2.
If you're good, they'll find you.
I think that line in 2017 applies more than ever. Some guys from every range of collegiate baseball in the United States, every corner of the world now. Story at second, 2 outs, 8-3 Colorado. 1 and 2 on Ian Desmond. Two, and back up the middle, base hit. Story will score the Rockies' 9th run. It's a 4 RBI day for Ian Desmond as well.
It's great to see this lineup clicking.
The length of the lineup really playing out today.
Ian gets a fastball up, just shoots it right back up the middle. Tell you what, the Rockies' 2-strike approach today, there's only been 2 strikeouts from the unit, and several 2-strike hits. If they grinded bats like this, they could be a dangerous team come down the stretch.
Listen, bottom line, Spilly, you know this, you experienced it firsthand in 2007. Get in. Everybody zip and zip. You never know. Cardinals won a World Series after producing just 83 regular season wins several years back. Cargo a walk, and he hit a missile of a double to left center field.
So here are the numbers that I had Doug look up. Before August the 30th, when Cargo started to get real hot, he only had 19 hits to left field compared to 74 to center and right. He's primarily pulling the baseball. Since then, it's evenly dispersed.
And look at the results, right? Overall, this ball is slicing away from Osuna, but he'll get there. And that'll end the inning. Rockies were looking to counterpunch after 3 were put on the board by the Marlins. They put their own 3 up. Story in the middle of it today, 9-3. Story and Ian Desmond. Top of the order coming for the Marlins against John Gray here at the top of the 5th. And earlier today it was announced by Major League Baseball that the sale of the Marlins to a group led by Richard Sherman and Derek Jeter has been unanimously approved. Did I say Richard Sherman? He plays DB for Seattle.
He's
really good. He's not getting an ownership just yet. I meant to say Bruce Sherman. He's a Florida businessman. First pitch misses to D. Gordon, ball 1. And it was unanimous. And the $1.2 billion deal, I think, will officially be consummated, they believe, on Monday, the day after the Marlins season ends. And then speculation will begin as to what will happen in the offseason. I would imagine it will be a complete overhaul of the Marlins, somewhat on the field, but they want to change the image the Marlins have in South Florida. Derek Jeter will be the CEO. On the ground to DJ. 1 out. That'll bring up Stanton.
And look,
Stanton, whether he's playing his last 4 or 5 ball games in a Marlins uniform is a legitimate question.
Look, the Marlins fans have good reason to look at ownership with the side eye, right? After 1997, they go on, they win a World Series, they dismantle that entire group. 2003, they have a great team, they win a World Series. A couple of years later, they dismantle the group. Even looking back from, what, 4 years ago, they make all these great signs, add all these players, Mark Burley, Heath Bell, Jose Reyes, all these different players for the new stadium. Dismantle it.
They let it play out for about 2.5 months. That was it. And so there was a huge distrust between the community in South Florida and the organization, and that's just a fact. 3-0 on Stanton, and now you have
3-0.
Yeah, now you have a new group coming in with one of the most iconic, not just baseball figures, but sports figures ever. And they have a chance, that's in there, to really turn the page.
And look, I want to see Derek Jeter and his group succeed. I want to see him take full ownership of this and run it the way he wants to.
Good for baseball.
It's great for baseball. I know something was made of it last week when you're looking at some of the key members, special assistants to the Marlins, guys like Jack McKeon,
Tony Perez, Andre Dawson.
Yes, they were let go. But at the same time, that's part of the new culture that you're trying to establish. Nice, John.
And Stanton strikes out again. 3rd time Gray's gotten him today. And remember, Stanton came into the ballgame 4 for 8 with 2 home runs against Gray.
Looks like just a backup slider. Basically, it's a bad slider that he gets away with. Take that.
He's got 4 strikeouts today, and again, 3 of them are Stanton. Here's Yelich. They have to change the image down there, and they get an enormous boost again with Jeter as the front man. And it's not just, he's not just going to be a figurehead. I mean, he's going to be heavily involved from everything we've read in the decision making. And the one thing about Jeter is, he knows baseball. We'll see how he goes about building a roster ultimately. But he knows about image.
Yeah, are you kidding me? For the amount of years he played in New York.
Think about this. Derek Jeter, dated some of the most beautiful women in the world and most famous women in the world, models and actresses. He's living in the fishbowl of New York. He's the face of the New York Yankees as they capture numerous championships. There's the tabloid papers that want to find dirt on everybody and everything. And there's never been a speck of dirt on Derek Jeter. It tells you a lot about Derek Jeter. I think it tells you a little something about, his expectations of this franchise going forward. Good inning for John Gray. Really good bounce back inning. A couple of weak ground balls and a strikeout. He's through the 5th inning. This ball game is official. 9-3 Colorado. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. The Rockies will have Jonathan Lucroy, John Gray, and Charlie Blackmon to hit here in the 5th inning. And Chris O'Grady, who the Rockies saw for 4 outs yesterday, is now on the bump. Rockies got 6 in the 2nd. They got 3 in the 4th against Junichi Tozawa.
30 2/3 innings pitched, 29 strikeouts, 17 walks. Features 4 pitches: fastball, changeup, curve, and cutter. The fastball averages about 87 miles an hour. So you know there's some deception.
Jonathan Lucroy yesterday on base a couple times. Today he's been on base twice. A single and a run scored, and then he was intentionally walked in the 3rd. On base percentage above 400 in a Rockies uniform. 1-1. Rockies will have the day off tomorrow. The Dodgers will be in over the weekend. Saw kind of a preliminary idea of what the Dodgers are going to do pitching wise. Ryu tentatively scheduled to go Friday. Kershaw tentatively scheduled to go Saturday. And I would think that Dave Roberts will, especially with Kershaw, somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 pitches. In his final start of the year.
I know there's talk about Hyun-Jin Ryu going back in the rotation for the playoffs, and they're thinking of having Alex Wood as being in the bullpen to eat up some innings.
It's dropped off for Alex Wood in the 2nd half. This guy was a Cy Young candidate for about 4 months this year, right?
Well, I think it's partially yes, but I also think the Dodgers feel a little more comfortable with Alex Wood being able to mix and match coming out of their bullpen. No, they made all these trades and moves for Cingrani and Tony Watson. And still, based on what we've seen in the last month, the Dodgers aren't quite sprinting into the playoffs.
And I don't think that matters. Dodgers will be very dangerous in the postseason.
No doubt. It's a good team. Best team ever, question mark.
Ball 4, leadoff walk. That's now 18 walks in a little more than 30 innings by O'Grady.
Oh my goodness.
Dinger making a house call. Todd Hollinsworth on the left, the former Rocky.
Well, Hollinsworth
Rich
was
on the
lefty.
right. John pulls it back.
I wonder if they called Dinger in the second inning and had him come up to their booth party today. Made a special guest appearance.
You think? Well, Rich Wall's Rich, a good friend. He's been with the Marlins for about a dozen years. Todd Hollinsworth's in his first year doing the games on television, doing a really good job. Former, speaking of the Dodgers, another one of those former Dodger rookies of the year.
They're going to have another one. Bellinger's getting it this year.
Holly had, yes, that's unanimous, I'm sure. Holly had a he had one of the worst injuries that I've seen. That's a nice little pickup by Gordon on the low throw. One out, another sac bunt for John Gray. Spilly, I don't think, I'm trying to think, when Hollinsworth was here, were you in the minor leagues yet, or were you still in college?
I think I was still in college, but the spider fracture.
Right, yeah, you heard about it. He found the ball off, you know, we see it all the time. Guys go down, they wince in pain. He did that. He found the ball off his shin. He had, as you said, a spider fracture. He was out for a year.
It doesn't even sound nice.
So here's Charlie, 1 for 3. Deep drive to left center that was shagged down by Osuna. An infield hit to produce a run. He also stole a base. Scored his 136th run. Grady hits the strike zone there. It's 0-1 on Charlie.
Grady went to school at George Mason University, the same university as Justin Bohr. They were teammates. O'Grady was a freshman in Bohr's senior season at George Mason.
Oh, and 2. All those schools here we're talking about: James Madison, DCU, Virginia Commonwealth, William and Mary, or if you know them well, it's Bill and Mary.
That's bad.
Really good academic schools too. Lucroy at second. Charlie, line drive, and right at Rojas.
Good read by Jonathan Lucroy to go straight back, knowing where your shortstop is.
We'll bring up LeMahieu, DJ in infield, hitting a run scored last inning. So check this out. There's only 14 players currently in the big leagues, Spilly, with over 3,000 plate appearances that have a 300 or better average. It's only 14 of them. Charlie right now is 10th on that list at 304. David John LeMahieu is 12th at 302 in his career. And he hits it at D. Gordon. That'll end the inning. So the Rockies leave Lucroy at second. They're enjoying a 9-3 lead as we turn the page to inning number 6 at Coors Field.
to do the magic number in the game. So I said, yeah, show the scoreboard. Milwaukee's playing later tonight. They play Cincinnati at home. The Rockies have 4 games to go. The magic number is 4. What 4 is it? Is it Jim Tracy? Is it Pat Valleca? You know who it is. It's Juan Uribe, one of the most famous 4s in Rockies history. But Drew, Billy, don't you agree? When you get asked, do you want to do the magic number? You say, yes, I want to do the magic number.
I love it. It's one of the best things we've done.
Yeah.
Boy, Juan Uribe would step in the bucket, and
right.
If the ball was on the inner half, he may hit it to the Toyota truck.
He was one of the coolest Rockies and most interesting baseball players, and played a long time. He ended up with the Indians, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Billy's right. He played forever,
yeah.
And he had one heck of a career. And you're right, Mark. Good guy. And he's a guy too, Spilly. You know his story. He came from extreme poverty in the Dominican.
He was great. He would come on some rehab assignments, and he always had this phrase, "Who Uribe?" When he round the bases, get a hit. The guy was beloved. He's beloved by everybody, regardless of where they were from. It wasn't just Latin guys that.
He's one of those guys. He always had a smile on his face.
Yeah, he was charismatic, funny.
He's one of those guys also. Osuna checks his swing. It's 2-2. That I know Dougie's doing it right now. It's like I always have a sense when Dougie's doing this. He'll go, guys, he didn't retire. He's playing in Guadalajara, right? Something like that. He'll be 45, still hitting tanks. And another strikeout for Gray. So he's gotten himself back online after that rough 4th inning. 5 strikeouts for the Gray Wolf, and that'll bring up Justin Bour.
That inning in the 4th could have gone completely different too. If you think back to Justin Bour lining out to Cargo, at 1st and 2nd, nobody out. That's a double. Just the way that inning unfolded, that out. Pretty big out, even though A.J. Ellis still hit a 2-run homer.
One strike on Bour. Looks like the next pitcher for Miami in the ball game will be Brian Ellington. Brian hiding behind a Christmas tree. 2-1. All right, Dougie did his research. Last August, number 4 was released by Cleveland.
Okay.
He's not resurfaced yet, but trust me, he will.
Winter ball? He'll end up in winter ball. Dominican winter ball.
Uribe will resurface.
He's only 39.
He's got another 10 good years in him.
John Gray wanted that last pitch.
Three and 2 on Justin Bour. Toward the middle of the diamond, and a nice backhand play by Trevor Story. 2 outs. Somebody hit us up on Twitter because we were talking about all those Virginia schools. And he didn't want to leave out Justin Verlander, who pitched at Old Dominion. ODU.
Virginia baseball.
Good baseball.
Great baseball. Going back, there was a stretch run between the Upton brothers and Ryan Zimmerman.
How about Mark Reynolds?
Mark Reynolds, David Wright.
Mark, of course, went to UVA. This ball is hit well. Cargo will get there, and he'll have to Willie Mays it. Sunk a little bit. Derek Dietrich lines out a 1-2-3 6th inning, 7 in a row, set down by Gray. All Rockies.
It's Purple Mondays on Wednesday today. I love it. Those are some rally boots if I've ever seen one. I'll buy a pair of those for next year. Rockies fans, get your tickets now for the fan appreciation tonight. Fireworks courtesy of Great Clips on Friday, September 29th, after the Rockies take on the Dodgers. All fans also receive a 2018 magnet schedule. Not rally boots like that.
Handshakes in the dugout for John Gray. 96 pitches over 6 innings. It's now 13 straight starts that he allows 3 runs or less. The final line will read 3 runs, 6 innings, 6 hits, no walks, and he struck out 5. Just had that one hiccup inning. Really the 2-run home run by A.J. Ellis. Nolan swings and misses against Brian Ellington's first offering. Rockies hang on. John will have his 10th victory of the year.
Well, that's a 13th straight start for John Gray, where he's gone 6 innings, 3 earned, but it's right behind Ubaldo Jimenez with 15. It's pretty impressive.
Ubaldo had the 12-game stretch also. Foul ball by Nolan, covering the outside corner again. Nolan 2 intentional walks. First time up, he had a line drive to Yelich in center. Antonio Senzatella up for the 2nd time in the ball game. Guess is he'll have the baseball in the 7th. 2-2. Kind of strange look up at the scoreboard. The Rockies have 9 runs, but they have fewer hits. They have 8 hits.
Conley's line is an inning and a third. 6 runs on 3 hits.
He also walked 3. Rockies have received 6 free passes, 3 intentional. Nolan strikes out against Ellington, 1 out. That'll bring up Story, who is 2 for 2 and a walk and 4 ribbies, single and a double. Misses badly. It's 1-0. Ellington, a Florida kid. His junior year in high school, he threw 3 no-hitters.
That's good.
Really good. Fortunately, he blew out his elbow after that. Tommy John surgery, missed his entire senior year. Went to a junior college. This ball is lifted to right center field and deep, but playable. Stanton the catch, 2 outs. Then from junior college, he moved on to West Florida, which is a D2 school, really high-level D2 conference. He got drafted out of there.
He's the hardest throwing reliever that the Marlins have. Fastball average is almost 99 miles an hour. This year for him, it's been control issues. 31 walks in 42 innings.
Well, you can see even in this outing, his misses are
big misses.
Big misses. But it's hard to teach 98, right?
It's hard to teach 98.
1-0 on Reynolds. You don't want to wear 98 either.
No, it doesn't feel good. First 59 innings that he pitched in the major leagues, he only had 29 walks. And this season, like I said, 42 and 2/3 now, 31 walks. So he has more walks in this season than he did in the previous 2 years combined.
On Reynolds, and a 4-pitch walk. That will allow Desmond to participate here in the 6th inning offensively. He's already been a significant contributor when he's been allowed to participate today. 3-run home run in the 2nd, an RBI single in the 4th. Here it is visually.
I love the hugs of late. Last night, Nolan and Cargo embraced. Nolan got a kiss out of that deal last night. Reynolds didn't feel like giving Ian a little smooch.
Pitch back. Had Mark gone, he'd have been out by 30 feet.
Good read, Mark. I know his teammates are telling him good read. See him laughing.
Boy, that's the best thing. You're talking about the hugs, and the smiles, and the smooches, and just right there, mid-game, a smile. You got this is a game, Spilly. Tell him you can't play this game with a grimace on your face. Harder, angrier, ticked off does not work in baseball typically. Even though the game makes you ticked off.
Yes.
A high percentage of the time. Let's go visit with Giancarlo Stanton after this game.
Nope.
1-0 on Desi. You know, and from Miami's perspective, we've seen Stanton spike his helmet and his bat a couple times in the last 24 hours. I don't mind that at all. It tells me that despite all of the
he cares.
Great numbers he has, he cares, man. It's about, even though He knows they're going home in a few days. It's about finishing right. It's about winning. And everybody you talk to, and we visited with Giancarlo over the years, he's a team guy.
He's a gamer.
Two one. 3-1. And another walk. That'll bring up Cargo with 2 on and 2 outs. Spilly, let me ask you, was it in some ways a tougher at bat when you faced a guy that, okay, yeah, you know he's throwing a fastball, so that eliminates other things, but when he's so wild, because all of a sudden ball 2, and then something shows up in the middle of the zone, and you're almost like mentally, are you prepared for it?
You are, because you get to hunt right down the middle. You wouldn't swing at any other pitch than right down the middle. So for a hitter, it actually makes it easier. You just have to make sure that you're ready to move out of the way if you have to duck. But as a hitter, it's great. You know, you have to worry about one pitch, fastball down the middle. All right. I may get hit, but if he throws a pitch down the middle, I'm going to get a hit.
Cargo had a double to left center in the 3rd, also a walk and a line out to left. Really shading Cargo now toward left center. Ball 1. 9-3 Colorado. Put a 6 spot up on in the 2nd inning. All of a sudden, Ellington cannot throw a strike. Here's the 2-0.
Well, looks like Senzatella sat down and Carlos Estevez is starting to warm up.
This ball down the line, extra bases for Cargo. Reynolds will score. Desmond gets a green light, and the throw is offline. 2-run double. Carlos Gonzalez make it 11-3. Second double of the ball game for Cargo. His 33rd of the year.
These are pretty much the jugular RBIs. This game's starting to get completely out of hand for the Marlins. Right off the outstretched arms of Justin Bohr. Like I said earlier, whenever you're a hitter and you're facing a guy with some command issues, got the first 2 hitters out and then walk Reynolds, walk Desmond, you get a chance to go up there and just look in one spot. It becomes easier to hit.
Want to know on Lucroy.
With all the struggles the Rockies have had with runners in scoring position this last month, today they're 6 for 11.
And it's good to see them have back-to-back strong days offensively. Remember a couple weeks ago the Rockies had that game where they threw 16, 17 runs on the board, whatever it was. But everything surrounding that game was minimal when it came to offense. 6 yesterday, 11 today. As the Brewers prepare to play in a little while, and St. Louis preparing for the Cubs later on. They are aware what the Rockies are doing.
Look, the Rockies up until yesterday had a .215 batting average in September with runners in scoring position. That was historically the worst in franchise history. Currently, it was third worst in Major League Baseball. So the last 2 days, it's going to up those numbers. You don't want to have historically bad numbers when you're on a playoff run with a team that has a chance to get into the playoffs.
Here's Raimel Tapia pinch hitting for John Gray. And Gray goes 6 innings, gives up 3 runs. That's a strike on Tapia. There's Big John. So you recalculate the Rockies starting pitchers over the last 12 games. They have a .284 ERA.
That's good.
That is better than good. Oh, 2 on Tapia. Actually, that's an overall number. The starters are at .278. .284 includes the work of the bullpen, which is kind of shocking. You look at those numbers, you think the Rockies over those 12, what, they go 10-2? That hasn't been the case.
John Gray has top 2 ERA since July the 25th in the National League.
Rockies 5-6. Assuming they hang on today, it'll be a 500 stretch. Everybody talked about those young pitchers. Will they hold up? Held up just fine. Of course, getting Tyler Anderson back and Tyler Chatwood back in the rotation, that's helped enormously. Chad Bettis. One and 2. Gray healthy again. Charlie Blackmon had a great line about the Rockies pitching. He said, you know, he wanted to make sure the Rockies took it day by day, but he said if we get to the postseason, he said it's not like we have just one headliner type of name. He said any guy we throw out there is really talented, and we have a ton of confidence in him. And it wasn't just teammates speak. You know the difference between that.
Yeah, where you're like, we got a bunch of great guys. Eye roll. He was being serious.
1-2 on Raimel. Tapia lines this ball to left, and this is fair. And it goes past Osuna. This one's going to score 2. Lucroy follows Cargo home. 13-3. Raimel Tapia with a 2-run double.
Now everyone's getting involved in today's game. Off the bench, down 2 strikes. Another good 2-strike approach by the Rockies, hitting it opposite field. Make that 7 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Down the left field line. Be very happy. Raimel Tapia.
Young man's got a bright future. Real good at bat for Tapia. A rough outing for Ellington. He got 2 quick outs. He struck out Nolan. He got Story to hit a fly ball to right. Then he walked Reynolds and Desmond back to back. Cargo pulled a double down the right field line. Another walk to Lucroy, and now the Tapia double. 13-3 Colorado.
for the Marlins. Place a deposit on 2018 season tickets and guarantee postseason ticket opportunities. Go to Rockies.com/season tickets for details. You can pretty much wear as much purple as you want if you come buy season tickets. Get those rally boots.
Much as you want. You can wear those rally boots that Spilly's going to go purchase after the ball game. New third baseman is Brian Anderson. Derek Dietrich goes to the other corner. Justin Bohr comes off the field. And Justin Nicolino is pitching. Charlie Blackmon up for the 5th time. Come up 5 times in 6 innings. That's a good thing. 1 for 4. He's hit into a couple of loud outs today. Deep left center field. His last time up, he hit a line shot, but it was right at the shortstop, Miguel Rojas. Tapia is at second, a 2-out double. The Rockies have scored 4 here in the 6th. Rockies got 6 in the 2nd, 3 in the 4th. Current 4 here in inning number 6. (2-0) on Blackmon. When the Rockies score 5 or more, they are 63-13. On their way, it looks like, to 64-13. On the swing, 2-1.
Pretty cool watching Charlie Blackmon's season just unfold. You can see where he's at with batting average .326. He's on pace to add another maybe batting title to the Rockies record books.
There's so many categories that he's top of the charts. Triples, total bases, runs scored. And there's another base hit and another RBI for Chuck Nasty. Tapia scores run number 14. That is RBI number 99 for Blackmon. 98 out of the top spot in the order. The all-time Major League record. He now has obliterated the National League record. The all-time Major League record, 100 RBIs by Darren Erstad of the Angels out of the 1 hole.
Well, his season, it's been so great that you're starting to come up with names of the past that are historic. Guys like Joe DiMaggio. You just mentioned Darren Erstad. You're breaking records at this point.
Well, the last time a guy had 30-plus home runs, 30-plus doubles, was hitting over, I think it was 325, was Stan Musial.
Come on, Stan the man.
And had 10-plus triples. That was the other category.
We want him to get to 15 triples. That's the number we want.
That was Charlie's, by the way, 66th Spilly multi-hit game of the year, which ties the club record originally set by Dante Bichette in 1998.
Names from the past, the great mullet of Dante Bichette, one of the Blake Street Bombers.
1-1 to DJ. This ball is pulled to left for a base hit. The other thing this is going to enable Buddy to do, Spilly, is probably pull guys like Charlie and Nolan, maybe DJ, and give them, you know, an extra hour off their feet and then a full day off tomorrow.
It's great. You should get a line change after this inning for the Rockies, and Nolan led off this inning with a strikeout against Ellington. I think after watching this inning unfold, he probably thought to himself, I probably shouldn't have swung.
Next ribby for Nolan will be 130. Got under it just a little bit, I think. Still hit at about 405 feet. The Rockies put a 5 spot up in the 6th inning. They lead it 14-3 as we go to the 7th. Here's our Kubota pitching performance. Big John Gray on the mound. It's always special. Stanton didn't like his at-bats too much. He struck out 3 times against Gray. John ends up with 6 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits. Didn't walk anybody. Struck out 5. He's on his way to his 10th victory of the year. And when you consider that John today was making his 20th start, pretty impressive. Become the staff leader, and now he'll pass the baton to Antonio Senzatella, the guy that's won 10 ball games this year. Antonio will have A.J. Ellis, Miguel Rojas, and Brian Anderson, 7, 8, 9 in the Miami lineup in the 7th.
I like what the Rockies have done this season with some of their young arms, guys like Kyle Freeland, Jeff Hoffman, Antonio Senzatella. They rode them pretty hard coming out of spring training through the season, and then once they started losing a little steam, they moved him to the bullpen. Antonio was actually sent down to the minor leagues for a handful of days to just build up the arm strength, but he's looked great coming out of the bullpen. Fastball velocity's been there. Command has been there for him.
As we've said all year, focus, intensity, intellect, internally coachability, it's all there for all these young guys. Marquez, Senzatella, Freeland. Hoffman's grown a lot this year. Got a wake-up call when he didn't make the club out of spring training, and he did right for himself and for the club. He didn't pout. He went down and he got better in Albuquerque. And Jeff has obviously thrown some gems so far this year for the Rockies.
The last fastball had quite a bit of cut, and since Antonio's moved to the bullpen, 14 games as a reliever, you're gonna love this number, Drew. Hitters are hitting 129 against him.
He's fielding his position pretty well, huh? 129.
Is that good?
That's really good. Bring up Rojas. Rockies began the day, as Mark said, by showing Juan Uribe's number 4, the magic number of 4. And again, Milwaukee is playing at home against Cincinnati later today. St. Louis is home against the Cubs. Rojas takes a strike. He went. They check it out with Trip Gibson. 2 strikes.
I love Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate. Rojas has been a dead red fastball hitter. He's thrown 2 curveballs, and he's looking at the scoreboard wondering why he's not getting challenged, but Lucroy's not giving in. He's not allowing his pitchers to give in.
Another breaking ball, and here comes Trevor Story. 2 outs. And we were speculating that the Rockies were going to spin some guys out defensively. I think Buddy just wanted to wait at least 1 inning. Here again is what the National League wild card picture looks like at the start of the day. The Rockies a 1.5 up on Milwaukee, 2.5 up on St. Louis. So it looks like the Rockies, before they tee it up in those respective cities, will be 2 up and 3 up. And the other thing to keep in mind is you almost want St. Louis to win today. I know that sounds strange. We were chatting about this during a commercial break. And the reason you say that is the last 3 ball games of the year, Milwaukee plays St. Louis. You don't want St. Louis to be basically eliminated before that series starts. You want them to have every reason to think that there's at least a snippet of hope when they compete against Milwaukee over the weekend.
Well, the Cubs have been talking about how much they would love to clinch in St. Louis.
Strike 3, and a toss of the bat aside by Brian Anderson. Senzatella works a 1-2-3 inning. 14-3 Colorado.
They are up 14-3 on Miami. I want to show you some numbers on Chris Russell. We've called him the Swiss Army knife for the Rockies throughout this season. He's pitched in the first 2 games of this series. In fact, he pitched great in these 2 games. His 85 innings as a reliever tops in the big leagues. It was this day in 2014 when the Rockies claimed him off waivers from the Cubs. I talked to him about that today, and he said he was going to a wedding. It was a buddy from high school's wedding in Detroit. He had a bad AAA season, and his agent called him.
He said, "You hear the news?" And I said, "No, what news?" He goes, "You're a Colorado Rocky now." He goes, I said, I didn't even know I was put on waivers or anything.
Really?
You know, and he was like, "Well, congratulations, you know. One team, you know, got rid of you, and another team wants you. So, you know, it's good, bad news and good news." And you know, it's the start of, you know, what was just a fresh start, and I wanted to I had a lot to prove. I wanted to prove the Cubs wrong.
We'll watch this go out and fly out to center. Wanted to prove the Cubs wrong. How often do you talk about that, Ryan, about, you know, when guys go against their old team? And he has done that He's obviously done that, and more so with the Rockies, and in particular this season, what he's done out of the bullpen. I think you guys said that, has he pitched in basically every inning and extra innings this year? One of the few guys that have done that?
Feels like it.
Yeah.
Look, you want to have an edge. That's what baseball is all about. Any way that you can have a competitive edge over somebody else, whether it's a chip on the shoulder, whether it's believing that you should be starting, whatever it is to get yourself focused to compete. You saw with DJ. DJ, every chance he gets to go against his former teammates in the Cubs, he takes those revenge ABs.
That's right. You know, the Rockies have done nicely with the Cubs in some moves. You mentioned LeMahieu. I mean, that turned into a fleecing.
Yeah, Tyler Colvin had a great year with the Rockies.
And Theo Epstein's going to go to the Hall of Fame one day. Won championships with two clubs that hadn't won championships in forever, in Boston and the Chicago Cubs. You don't hit 1,000 as a general manager. You don't come anywhere close to it with moves. That's just not how it works. But the first move that Theo made was trading for Ian Stewart and David Weathers.
Casey Weathers.
Casey Weathers. And that one, if it were a fight, it would have been a TKO in the first round. And I'm trying to knock those other two players, but DJ's become an upper echelon player, an all-star, Gold Glove winner, a batting champ. And Tyler Colvin, until he got hurt, his first year, he had a really good year with the Rockies.
I've heard Epstein talk about DJ LeMahieu, and he said, you know what, part of the reason why the Rockies got such a great player is because they were in a transition change. That was his first year, as you mentioned, his first move, and he didn't value DJ as much as some of the other people in the organization did, and that turns around to backfire on you. Now, granted, at that time, Darwin Barney was the second baseman for the Cubs, an up-and-coming kid with great glove. I think they believed they had something special with Barney. Barney ended up winning a Gold Glove.
Strike three on Reynolds. 2 outs as Nicolino frees his mark, and that'll bring up Ian Desmond. Desi's had a day. 3-run home run to get the Rockies going in the second. An RBI single in the fourth. The crowd reacting because Knucklehead ran his way onto the field. Desi also walked and scored in the 6th inning. I think we've had that all year at Coors Field.
Now, he did make it to the pay dirt, though. 85 yards up the middle.
Right, then he can take a selfie from behind some bars right now, too.
Oh, yeah.
So with 2 outs, Desmond will start his at bat now against Nicolino. That guy had more rushing yards than the New York Giants have had all year.
Saw a seam and went for it.
Oh, 1. Rockies on their way with a 14-3 lead to another victory. Ian Desmond has 7 home runs. When he hits a home run, the Rockies are unbeaten. He also has 40 RBIs, as he's called out also. And check this out. Of those 40 RBIs, 34 of them will come in a Rockies victory. 14-3 Colorado. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Bank of the West, whatever your needs, good things happen when your local bank goes big. Bank of the West. In front of a crowd of 27,497 on what started out as a drizzly, chilly day. The Rockies up by 11. Pat Valaika takes over at third for one Nolan Arenado. Antonio Senzatella getting ready for his second inning of work. D. Gordon will lead off. Tyler Moore, we failed to tell you, last inning took over in right field for Giancarlo Stanton, so Moore's on deck. Rockies pitching staff did a marvelous job against Stanton. Stanton, in his first 20 games at Coors Field, had hit 10 home runs, or a home run every 7.9 at bats. In the series, the Rockies held him to 1 for 12. He had 4 strikeouts. The only ball he had in the infield was the double he had down the left field line.
That ball was hit hard last night.
Ooh. Oh, just missed Tyler Moore. I don't think, I'm not sure, Spilly, you're usually up to speed on such things. Does Giancarlo have the ability to decline certain trades at all?
I think there's an opt-out for him in his contract a couple years down the road, but I don't know if he has full no trade clauses. He can opt out in 2020.
Why would you opt out of that deal?
Yeah.
Because most of the money is backloaded. It's a $325 million deal. He's enjoyed his best season.
It's good to see him smile. He was not happy today. No. So whoever's sitting next to him, I bet it's Martin Prado.
Talked to Martin yesterday. You look at this lineup. We've bragged on the Marlins, their abilities offensively, the big boys they put out there, Stanton and Osuna and Justin Bour. Martin Prado's the leader in that clubhouse, and he's a tremendous player. He's been out with a leg injury. His knee is just starting to feel better.
He started taking batting practice this week in Colorado.
Martin in the offseason will Sure will be with Cargo and Para and a lot of those guys that train in the Orlando area. Martine's wife is a doctor, and they were in Orlando. They moved down to Miami because she practices down there. And Martine was saying he's got too much driving because in Orlando they work out at the ESPN complex, and so they can lift there, they can hit there, they can take ground balls there. Where in Miami, he said, I'm lifting one place, I'm taking my ground ball somewhere else, then I'm going somewhere else to hit.
That's how he hurt his knee. He was stepping on the gas and the brake.
Maybe that's what happened.
That's Mike Avila's.
That's a hard shot. Oh, what a play by Valleca. But he can't get D. Gordon. That was Nolan-esque.
The ball will always find you when you come onto the field.
He's getting a standing ovation, man. That was one hell of a play.
His adjustment, he's already on the ground and the ball hops up on him. He's on the ground, the adjustment, the quick read. If it was anybody besides D. Gordon, he gets him out.
So we said that twice today because LeMahieu made a fabulous play on Gordon, and we said other than, you know, Turner, Gordon, Hamilton, Buxton, I want to remove those guys. Buxton hits from the right side. He'd have thrown him out.
Now 41
Turner
infield
hits
singles.
The right side.
Yeah, 41 infield singles now for D. Gordon.
Moore hits this ball to Cargo, or maybe not. Off the top of the wall. Now Cargo's got to chase it. D. Gordon, the third, will stop there. Good deke by Cargo. Otherwise, D. Gordon would have scored easily on the Moore double off the top of the scoreboard. Bring up Christian Yelich.
Giancarlo Stanton had 3 strikeouts today. He hadn't had a 4 strikeout game this entire season. Remarkable to think about that.
Hey, Dougie just looked up on Cott's baseball contracts, and if it's accurate, which it usually is, Stanton has a full no trade clause.
Good for him. It's a nice contract.
Yelich will get an RBI for this ground out. It's 14-4. That's his 80th RBI. Moore to third. Osuna at the plate is 1 for 3. If the new regime does move Stanton, that's a strike. There's only a handful of teams that truly can afford it, where it just doesn't make your whole payroll top heavy, and that's why Miami, you know, would entertain moving him reportedly, because if you're a mid-market payroll or anywhere in that neighborhood, it's hard to have one guy making $25 or $30 million and field a competitive team. DJ, throw out Osuna, and another run will score. Moore comes around. 14-5. That's the 119th RBI for Marcell Ozuna. 2 outs, nobody on.
Even if the Marlins wanted to move him, let's say they have trade partners, and he said, nope, I don't feel like going to that ballpark. Tomas Talis will pinch hit. He can still prevent the Marlins from ever shedding that salary, even if there was a mid-level market team. I know Philadelphia Phillies were kicking the tires on Giancarlo during the trade deadline.
Tomas Talise takes a strike. And he rolls over to DJ, who gets 3 more assists in the inning. 2 runs do score for the Marlins in the 8th. The Rockies are up 9 though.
Fan. The Colorado Rockies will make an impact program is a free elementary school assembly that will entertain students while showing them how to make an impact on their lives and communities. Call 303 Rockies for more information.
New pitcher's Javi Guerra. He'll throw the bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be Cargo. Jonathan Lucroy scheduled next, and then a pinch hitter. Cargo, a pair of doubles, a line out, and a walk. He had 3 hits last night, 2 more today. Strike on Cargo.
It's these type of games, if you're a hitter, where you could throw away an at bat. You want to try to mentally not give away any at bats. That's why Charlie Blackmon's been so impressive this season. Whether you're on the plus side or on the other side, you want to make sure you're professional, that you have an approach.
Well, Cargo's got a good approach. He has 6 hits in the last 18 hours. And as you pointed out earlier, Spilly, most of his offense of late to the left of the center fielder.
It's great. It just lets you know that he's letting the ball travel.
What's great to see is that Cargo and Trevor Story, 2 guys that have struggled at times this year, are both in the best place they've been all season long in the final week of the regular season. Tony Walters to hit for Jonathan Lucroy. Luke was on all 4 times today, a single and 3 walks. Tony will catch the 9th inning. Jeff Hoffman's warming in the Rockies pen to throw it. Gardner with his 4th 3-hit ball game of the month. Two strikes on Walters.
He's taking inside of that Subaru strike zone.
Sharply hit. D. Gordon does not handle it. That would have been a double play. So on the error, Walters reaches, and Alexi Amarista will be the pinch hitter. For Gordon, that's his 12th error of the year. DJ, by contrast, has made 8 errors. Doesn't tell the whole story with the player defensively, was part of it. Good swing from Amarista.
Has hit .333 this season with runners in scoring position. A lot of opportunities for Amarista, but in those key situations where you need a quality of bat, he's provided it. Halloween's not for about another month.
That guy's celebrating it today. One of my neighbors I noticed today has pumpkins out already. Is that premature?
Our entire neighborhood's decorated.
Already?
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's got to hit October before you throw the pumpkins out.
So I think I was at Home Depot. I didn't have enough time to get to Bed Bath & Beyond, but I want to eventually buy every single Halloween display thing that they have and just litter my yard with it. Spend like a couple.
Do you want to be that neighbor?
Yeah, spend a couple $1,000s, scare all the kids in the neighborhood, and then hopefully the rest of the neighborhood would not decorate their house is the same. They go, we can't compete with the billboards, and I would never put it back on my yard ever again.
D. Gordon will get another chance here. 1st and 3rd. And Charlie will take his 6th at bat of the ball game. He's 2 for 5. 2 runs batted in. Kind of productive out because Miami down by 9 runs. He's going to play the infield back. Trying to turn 2 obviously up the middle, but Charlie has a great opportunity to drive in his 100th here.
Make the happy panda.
Today when Milwaukee tees it up with Cincinnati. Homer Bailey going for the Reds against Brandon Woodruff of Milwaukee. Charlie with a base hit and his 100th RBI. Get him the baseball. He won't ask for it.
Nope.
But Tony Diaz will. 100 RBIs for the Rockies leadoff man. 99 have come out of the one spot as Derek Dietrich goes and visits with his former Georgia Tech roommate.
Just amazing. He does not give it bats away. Say what you will. The 14-5 game, people say, well, RBI's this, RBI's that. It's a product of the lineup. You know what? It's a product of the guy's approach. He does not throw at bats away. When there's an opportunity to score somebody, he doesn't.
We've watched all year. You're going to tell me those 100 RBIs aren't all significant?
They're all significant.
Mike Tauchman pinch hitting for DJ. It's the 39th time a Rocky has eclipsed the century mark in ribbies. Tauchman fits this one to short and turns into a double play. Miguel Rojas, 6-3. Rockies tack on another run with the base hit by Blackmon. 100 RBIs.
For Charlie on the 2017 season with 3 games to go. Oh, and he's one shy of 100 at the leadoff spot. Pretty good for Charlie Blackmon. Pretty good for the Rockies today. Juddy Kavnar, Corey Sullivan, and Jeff Houston. We're getting ready for the Toyota postgame show. Always fun when you have runs to talk about. This is a big offense today.
It really is. There's so many guys to talk about. You talked about Charlie, but I'm going to go to the pitching just for a moment with John Gray. 13 times now, 13 straight starts where he's allowed 3 earned runs or less.
There are 3 guys that we have talked about are vital to this offense if they make a playoff push. I'm not talking about Nolan and Charlie or DJ. I'm talking about Trevor Story, Cargo, and Desmond. Today, 7 for 12, 4 extra base hits, 10 RBI. That's enormous.
Those are the guys you're going to need down the stretch. Guys, we'll send it back to you for the 9th, and we'll see you right after for the Toyota postgame show.
Yeah, Jenny, I think you guys will have something to talk about today.
Just a few things.
Yeah, Mike Tauchman is in center field now here in the 9th inning. Amarista, Alexi's in at second base. Ryan McMahon is at first base. Tony Walters is behind the plate, and Jeff Hoffman will pitch the 9th. 15-5 Colorado.
numbers for Hoffman. 97 2/3 of an inning. 157 whip. I think we need to see Hoffman very similar to an Antonio Senzatella. Just his ability now to come into the bullpen, take a little of the tension off his arm. It's been a long season for these young guys. Get their mechanics so they're mechanically right.
Dietrich gets the barrel out there, and he rips one to the right field corner. Cargo will throw it back in. Dietrich into second with a double. Charlie getting the 9th inning off. Charlie becomes just the 3rd center fielder in Rockies history to produce 100 RBIs. Ellis Burks at 128.96, but Ellis, though he did hit some leadoff, also hit in the middle of the order. Preston Wilson in 03 drove in 141. Preston hit a lot of cleanup behind Helton. Preston broadcasting with the Marlins still, and doing work on MLB Network as well. Charlie's asked numerous times, especially this season, about his numbers and some of the historic ones. And he says that, you know, he really is unaware of them because he goes, I worry about the numbers at the end of the year. And knowing Charlie as we do, I think sometimes athletes say that and you go, yeah, right. I know where I know exactly what I'm hitting. I can calculate every time I run to first base. With Charlie, it is completely believable. It's just how he goes about his business of he is a slave to process and not results. The results come. He'll look at the numbers. He'll be proud of himself at the end of the year, but he really doesn't. He doesn't read stuff on himself. He just prepares diligently to play every single day. This ball's hit really well to right field. Cargo not going to have a play. And once again, he's going to have to field this off the wall. So A.J. Ellis, who hit a home run earlier, has a run scoring double in the 9th. 2 well hit balls off of Jeff Hoffman. The last thing Jeff wants, and the last thing Buddy Black wants, is, you know, a sloppy finish to this. Thought it was a good visit to the mound by Tony Walters.
He's just missing too much in the middle of the plate this inning.
Rojas, ball 1 on a curveball.
Everything high on the Subaru strike zone.
Buddy's decided to get Kyle Freeland up. That is fair. It's going to be 3 doubles in a row. 2 runs come in. It's 15-7.
Even that last pitch is going to be high on the Subaru strike zone. It's just too much part of the plate. And then anytime you're up in the zone, it's easier for hitters to just put the barrel on it and hit a line drive so it can land where nobody catches it.
Brian Anderson, second at bat. 2-0.
In these pitches now, he's down and away on the Subaru strike zone. Love when Vinny holds court.
This ball's well hit right center field. This is extra bases. It's going to be 4 straight doubles and 3 runs. And Buddy doesn't want to. He's going to quite possibly have to pull the plug on Jeff Hoffman. Here he comes. Kyle Freeland will be up next. Today, Woody and Desmond got the Rockies going in a scoreless game. In the second, he hits a 3-run home run off the top of the scoreboard in right. He would throw out an RBI single a little bit later on. A 4 RBI day for Desmond. Rockies up 15-8. 3 runs on 4 straight doubles here in the 9th inning. Nobody out. So Hoffman is replaced by his close friend Kyle Freeland with D. Gordon at the plate. Brian Anderson at second.
Freeland came in 2 days ago for some relief and had to be relieved by his teammate. Back-to-back hits given up.
Pat Neshek's actually throwing too, just in case. One and 0 on D. Gordon. Gordon 2 infield hits that spoiled 2 ridiculously good defensive plays by first DJ LeMahieu and then his last time up by Pat Valaika.
Kyle living at the bottom of the Subaru strike zone. Unlike his buddy Jeff Hoffman, just too much part of the plate and up.
Ball and 2 strikes on Gordon. Tyler Moore's on deck. And another foul ball. Two and two. The Rockies want to have completed handshakes, had a hot shower by now. Still nobody out. 4 straight doubles here in the top of the 9th. This will get the first out. Valleca, McMahon. That's in a real gray area, and it's not that easy. That is a long run for the corner infielders, and it's a tough play for the catcher.
And it's a play that Ryan McMahon, I mean, yes, he's played some first base. Valleca's at third. This is a group of guys that haven't really played together.
Catchers don't want that play, trust me. You have to turn around and then find the baseball.
There's English. It comes back towards the pitcher's mound.
1 out. Here's Moore. He had a double last inning in his first at bat.
Marlins come into today's game 26-4 if they score 8 or more runs. The Rockies 15.
John Gray went 6 innings, allowed 3 runs. All those runs came in the 4th. Senzatella went 2. And he allowed 2 runs in his 2nd inning of work in the 8th. Moore with a base hit. Another run will score. Well, that'll close the book. It's a disappointing one on Hoffman. He faced 4 hitters and they all scored. Buddy's had enough. He's going to bring in Pat Neshek now to get the final 2 outs. (15-9). 5 hits, and the Rockies are going to go to their 3rd pitcher to get the final 2 outs now. Pat Neshek is on. The good news is the Rockies still have a 6-run lead. The bad news is it's been a sloppy top of the 9th.
I think both sides are going to run out of highlighters.
Christian Yelich is coming up. Yelich today is 1 for 4. An RBI. All the guys that have been highlighted are gone from the game. And there's no re-entry rule. Neshek misses ball 1. Rockies off tomorrow, then the Dodgers are in town on Friday. Cincinnati plays 2 more games in Milwaukee tonight and tomorrow afternoon. Same thing with Chicago playing in St. Louis. They play tonight and they'll play tomorrow night. Swung on and missed. Neshek strikes out. Christian Yelich, 2 gone in the 9th.
Neshek with his slider so good this season. It's been an all-star year for him. From Philadelphia to the Rocks. I love that in his time with Philadelphia, they were begging him to throw the slider more.
Marcell Ozuna, he's 1 for 4 with a ribby. Sliders fouled off, 0-1. Charlie Blackmon today, 3 for 6 with 3 RBIs. He now has 100 on the season. One of the hitting stars. DJ had 2 hits. Trevor Story, 4 ribbies. Desmond, 4 ribbies. Cargo, 3 more hits. And this is slowly hit to Story, and he can't pick it up. That'll be an infield hit. And now the 9th man to hit here for the Marlins in the inning. Mike Aviles, long-time vet.
It's been a 21-minute half inning for the Rockies.
One ball, 1 strike. And this is popped up and playable, and foul ground for Ryan McMahon. Finally, the inning is over. Not a pretty inning from the Rockies' perspective, but a great day. The Rockies win it. It's 2 in a row. First time in 10 days they could say they've won 2 straight. And they inch closer to a playoff spot. Their magic number goes down to 3. John Gray wins his 10th victory of the year. He's 10-4. Adam Conley takes the loss. And a lot of offensive fireworks. Big, big win for the Rockies. A lot to do on the Toyota postgame show. We get you there right now. Here's Jen.
Big win, big marks for the offense as well. They finally get it done. Love the 15 runs. It's only the 4th time they've scored 15 or more runs this year. They needed a statement game. They got it.
9 for 17 with runners in scoring position, 8 2-out RBI. It was phenomenal offense.
The last 2 games, they've looked like a playoff team. Fun to watch.
Hunt for October.
Let's go.
Next.